I want to tell you about my sister. Her name was Setsuko. She was 4 years old, and I don't know how to say this exactly. She was the kind of person who made everything feel like it was going to be okay, even when it wasn't, especially when it wasn't. She had this candy tin, red, round, about the size of her fist, Sakuma drops, fruit flavor. She carried it everywhere. Even when it was empty, she carried it. She said she liked the sound it made when she shook it. I used to think that was silly. I don't think that anymore. We lived in Kobe, just the two of us and our mother. Our father was away, Imperial Navy, somewhere at sea. We didn't know exactly where. We told ourselves he was fine. You tell yourself things like that when you're 14. Our mother used to make rice with pickled plum on Sunday mornings. Setsuko always ate mine when she thought I wasn't looking. I was always looking. I just let her do it. Then one night in March, the sky turned orange. I heard the planes before I saw them, that low sound like the whole sky was humming. I grabbed Setsuko. I grabbed the candy tin because she was reaching for it, and I ran. Our house was gone by morning. Our street was gone. Most of Kobe was gone. And our mother? Our mother was at the shelter. I went to see her the next day. She didn't look like herself anymore. I held Setsuko's hand very tight on the way home. I didn't say anything. I just held her hand. And I thought, I'm going to take care of you. I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out. I really believe that. We moved in with my aunt on the other side of the city. She was my mother's cousin. I didn't know her very well. At first, it was okay. She fed us, she gave us a room. I thought, this is going to work. I really thought that. But then things changed. I don't know exactly when. One day she just started looking at us differently. Like we were, I don't know, like we were something she hadn't planned for. She started giving Setsuko less rice at dinner. I noticed, but I didn't say anything. I just gave Setsuko mine when the aunt wasn't looking. I figured I was bigger. I could handle it. 14-year-old can handle a lot, right? I think I was wrong about that. So I found us a place, an old bomb shelter near the lake outside the city. It was kind of falling apart, but I fixed the entrance, I made a fire pit, I caught fish with a stick and some wire I found. The first fish I caught was really small. Setsuko said it was the most delicious thing she had ever eaten in her life. She said that about everything I made. And then, one night, I don't know whose idea it was, we started catching fireflies. We used Mother's old glass jar. We must have caught 200 of them. We brought them inside the shelter, and I put the jar in the corner and just stopped. She stood in the middle of the shelter with her arms out like this, and the fireflies were floating all around her. And she looked at me with the biggest eyes, and she said, "Seita-kun, it's like we have our own stars." I didn't tell her that fireflies only live a few days. I should have said something. I don't know what. I just smiled and said, yeah, Setsuko, our own stars. That was the best night of my life. I knew it even then.
Then Setsuko stopped eating. I don't mean she refused. I mean she forgot how. She would look at food and her eyes wouldn't really focus. She started saying things that didn't make sense, talking to people who weren't there. I told myself it was the heat. I told myself she just needed more water. I told myself a lot of things. I was good at that. One morning, she walked up to me very carefully, the way she walked when she was being serious, and she held out a small stone, both hands, like an offering. "Rice ball," she said, and she was smiling, that big, full Setsuko smile that started in her eyes before it reached her mouth. Pause. I put the stone down very gently. I told her I would be right back. And then I ran. Urgent. A boy running, genuinely running. I ran through the whole city. I knocked on doors. I went through bins behind closed restaurants. I did things. I'm not going to say what I did, but I did them and I didn't care because I was going to come back with food and she was going to eat it and everything was going to be okay because I promised. I promised her. I was too late. By a few hours. Just a few hours. I held her for a long time. Outside, people were celebrating. The war was over, they said. It's over. I didn't go outside. I stayed with her until morning. Then I took her candy tin, the red one, the round one, the one she carried everywhere, and I held it against my chest. Pause. It was empty. I want you to understand something. I tried. I caught fish with wire and a stick. I caught fireflies in a glass jar so she wouldn't be afraid of the dark. I gave her my rice every night for 3 weeks and told her I wasn't hungry. I never stopped believing we were going to make it. Not once. Not even at the end. Maybe that was stupid. Maybe 14-year-olds shouldn't be in charge of keeping people alive during wartime. Yeah, maybe that's exactly the point. Setsuko used to say the fireflies were our stars. I think about that a lot. How they burned so bright. How they filled up the dark with something beautiful. How they were gone so fast. Pause. If you remember one thing from this story, remember that somewhere, right now, there's a boy like me running through a broken city with a candy tin in his hand and a sister he is not going to give up on. Beat. Don't let him run alone. Beat. Leave a word in the comments. Not for me, for Setsuko. She would have liked knowing people still remembered her name.